Welcome, friends, to the Preferred Experience podcast. Once again, back here in the center of the preferred community, Prattville, Alabama, our home. We love it. I'm Will Barrett, along with the Millzer at Master Control. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Like our guest has said, just trying to stay in the air conditioning.
Absolutely.
It is hotter than a steel chainsaw in a Tennessee pawn shop right now.
Yeah. You know, I have a membership out at the country club, and I kept telling myself, I'm going to play more golf. I'm going to play more golf. Then it gets 95 degrees. Goes, no, I ain't going to play.
I'm not going to play any golf. I want to wait till 5. Wait till 5 o'clock when it cools off and it's 93.
And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll wait till the fall. And then there's football, and then and then I wind up playing like 3 times in a year.
Yeah, exactly. And football's right around the corner. I mean, we're in the last days. The last work day of July is today. Yeah, and we've got football on August 19th. Crazy. Absolutely insane. I was at a teacher's luncheon this morning, administrators luncheon for the teachers before they go back to school. And school starts in 12 days. 12 days school starts back. It's like you blink and the summer's over. So this kid's going to love going back to school in 95 degree heat.
It's so crazy that now high school football, you're 3 weeks into the season, 3 to 4 weeks into the season before college football starts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I remember we used to not start football till Labor Day. Yeah. And now we're in mid-August. And, heat timeouts every 5 minutes because, good grief, it's 95 degrees at kickoff. And kickoff's at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we got a great guest on the show today. He's been here because of very popular demand. We've had a lot of good guests on the show, but I think this might be some of the most interesting conversation we've had across all 10 episodes thus far. And this man is a beloved resident of the city of Prattville, a quality member that pays his civic rent in full every week, no doubt about it. I'm talking about James Sean Lobmiller, otherwise known as Skip. Welcome to the podcast.
Wow, where'd you get that background info at?
I want you to know, Skip, I do deep dives on all of our guests.
Yes,
he has a staff of about 3 investigators that go in and they know everything. Excellent. They know everything. So get ready.
Yes.
So Skip, you're as much a commodity in Prattville as the gin shop would be. You've been here a long, long time. So tell us a little bit about the history of Skip.
Hey, I was actually born in Greenwood, Mississippi. Family moved to Prattville in '73. Bought our first home. Actually rented a home in Millbrook, Grandview Drive, I believe it is, right downtown Millbrook. For 1 year while they were building Camille Estates. And we bought a new home on Primrose Drive in '73, I believe it was. I did 5th grade in Millbrook, started 6th grade in Prattville, been here ever since, with the exception of 84 to 92 when I was in the Army.
The 82nd Airborne.
82nd Airborne.
And that is quite a distinction to be part of the 82nd Airborne. I don't know if you know this, Millzer, but the 82nd Airborne has served in every major U.S. conflict since World War I, with the exception of the Korean conflict.
That is correct.
So you're pretty amazing.
I don't know about all that. I enjoyed it.
And maybe the first airborne selfie ever taken.
Now that is good. That does go way back. I had a Kodak disc. I don't know if you remember the Kodak disc cameras. Used to keep it. You had a dummy cord, what they called a lanyard. We called it a dummy cord. It was attached to everything. You had 16, your canteen, cameras that you wasn't supposed to be jumping and stuff, but it fit perfect right here. So yeah, I jumped many jumps with that camera, and posted some pictures on one of our Facebook pages of some old airborne buddies, and they really got a kick out of seeing those old photos.
Absolutely.
As I did as well.
I think a lot of people were surprised to see that. A lot of people didn't know that about you.
And they were in color, too, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't all black and white.
Yeah, it was. I saw it was circa 1985, I think, that picture that I saw.
Exactly when it was, yes.
So you were a graduate of Prattville High School in 1980, is that right?
1980, yes.
1980, and since then, that's been, 42 years. A lot of changes have happened around here.
It is. We had the distinction of being the first class to go to Prattville High School all 3 years, sophomore, junior, senior. We are the only class that did not attend the old high school. Everybody either went to, they go to kindergarten there now. Mm-hmm. They went to, the ones before us went to high school there. And junior high, it turned into a junior high, but we were in that transition where we went straight from North Highland to the new high school.
Yeah, my sister did her ninth grade year was at the old high school, and then she went up. So she was right in that transition.
Yeah, she was right behind me. Yep. Exactly.
So you've been here as a graduate of Prattville High School for 42 years. You've seen lots of things go up, some things come down, but Prattville has been on the up for many, many years. And one of the things that makes this community a distinctive community, I think something we have that not many people, not many other communities have, wish they did, is a vibrant outdoor recreation component to the city. And it starts with the Tauga Creek that you are the unofficial mayor of.
Actually, I got to give credit to a lot of volunteers, a lot of grassroots volunteers that, I guess I started putting pictures on Facebook, and folks started getting involved. But it was a very polluted creek back in the day. Our first venture was behind the stadium, actually, right there where the fire training tower used to be. Didn't have I guess, EPA back then. A lot of stuff was thrown on the banks for erosion control, which I can see there's some serious erosion problems. But we pulled everything to include the kitchen sink out of that creek.
Literally a kitchen sink, probably.
Yes, literally. Hot water heater, too.
Now, the Tauga Creek Improvement Committee. This was started. Give us some background on the Tauga Creek Improvement Committee, because, like you said, Tauga Creek was not a pretty place back in the day. And when you say back in the day, you mean as late as the 90s, perhaps.
Yes, actually, we were founded in 2011. 2011. We actually started in 2010. I would float from downtown. The townhouses on Oak Creek Court, just beyond City Hall, would float down with Henry Maurice, a couple of dogs that Hayden Anderson owned. Would float down to the American Legion for some football or some NASCAR on Sunday afternoon, and then would walk back up. There was no walking trail. Thanks to Henry and Maurice, they beat a trail down behind the stadium, just a little path, and that one thing led to another, and we ended up with a nice Crimson Run walk trail there over the years. Some grassroots volunteers seen me pulling out one day. Joanne Johnson and her husband, Air Force, were new to the community, seen me pulling out, started asking questions. Well, where does this creek go? How far does it go? I said, well, it goes all the way to the Alabama River, about another 5 or 6 miles down. But this, as far as I go, I can't get past that blockage. That blockage was a big tree along with a bunch of the stuff that had been dumped in the creek from the fire training tower over the years, and had washed down and created a big blockage just before Doster Well area. So she said, well, hey, we got an old aluminum canoe and a pole saw. We'll meet you down here next weekend. I was thinking, yeah, right. I've heard that before. So next weekend I showed up, and sure enough, they were there with a canoe and a pole saw. So and she's the one that actually started putting pictures on Facebook, and because I am from here, she tagged me in them. I don't know, folks see me with a cold beverage and a chainsaw in my hand, and they all wanted to get involved.
Looks like fun.
Yeah, that's exactly what the redneck said.
Anytime you can have cold beverages and chainsaws, that's a good time.
Rednecks love it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You walk around with a chainsaw and a cold beer and say like Atlanta, downtown Atlanta or something like that. You're going to jail. You go to Prattville, you're going to work.
Yeah, you're going to work. Some hard work. Now, you've been pulling stuff out of that creek for years and years and years, and I imagine there's quite a few stories that go along with that. What would you say are some of the craziest things you've pulled out of that creek?
Well, one of the craziest things that we've lost in that creek that we've yet to pull out is the wounded warrior's artificial leg. He flipped over. And it is we've got this fictitious character down there, Catfish Charlie. He collects all the Oakley sunglasses, key fobs, keys, nice hats. One flip flop. If you go with flip flops or Crocs, you're not going to leave with both of them. But Catfish Charlie has a underwater bar somewhere. and I'm sure there's plenty of fish net over the years been down there. I know he's got a leg lamp made out of that leg. That prosthetic is now a leg lamp somewhere. We just can't find Catfish Charlie's bar.
So you're telling us that there's a prosthetic leg in that creek somewhere.
If it hasn't made it to the Alabama River, I'm thinking it is in Catfish Charlie's cave somewhere.
Well,
I'm hoping it is.
Someday somebody's going to stumble up on that leg and wonder.
Yes. Now, we searched hard for 2 weeks.
Well, that's a big deal.
And we knew exactly where he went, where he flipped over at. But like I said, those swift water currents, some of those stuffs, and then you've got logs under there and stuff. We don't know, if it caught up on something or if Catfish Charlie really got it and tuck and run with it.
Well, so that's one of the most interesting things I've seen. I've heard you say lost or pulled out of there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that in your expeditions up and down that creek, you've seen a few crazy things.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the wildest things you've seen on that creek?
I don't. Everybody thinks you see a lot of snakes. You don't. I've usually got Sailor Girl, my dog, with me. She's splashing, dashing, crashing, making noise.
Now, she's as famous as you are.
Yes, she is. Even more so, probably. She's a lot crazier than I am, that's for sure. But she's making noise. I don't go down there looking for snakes. If you go down there looking for snakes, you're going to probably see some. I do not go down there looking for them. So I rarely see them. Now, I can tell you, to my knowledge, there's never been a snake bite on that creek that I know of. No one's reported one to us. There's never been a fatality. We're knock on wood. We're really proud of that thus far.
Well, and some of the action I've seen behind Oster Well, some of those kids wouldn't know if they got snake bit.
No, they wouldn't. You're exactly right.
They're probably more of a threat to bite the snake.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Which
Y'all
is probably a
watch
good thing. That keeps the snakes at bay.
Y'all hold this, watch this,
Yeah.
right? Hold my drink, watch this. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows about the bottom end part down there, but y'all done some work on the top side of the dam too, and on back some, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Actually, Otago Creek is after we got founded and joined forces with the Alabama Scenic River Trail, we were able to submit paperwork and get recognized as a National Recreation Trail by the U.S. Department of Interior.
Wow.
Now, that is a 13-mile canoe trail, 6 below the dam, 7 above the dam. So it officially starts up on Booth Road, if you're familiar
By
with
my
that.
house.
Yeah.
It goes right by my house. So-
County Road 10. Now, we do not put in on Otago Creek there. We put in on Bridge Creek, where the Bridge Creek is. Otago Creek, that bridge, that first bridge you cross over, that goes into a 5-way split into a swamp. And no one's made it out on the first attempt yet. There are no signs or mile markers.
I will bring up a story here in a little while. There have been 2 men that have done it.
Okay, by luck, by chance.
No. But these are guys that's fished in Bear Creek on a regular boat. So
Yeah.
I'll tell the whole story here in a little bit.
But actually, we do have mile markers starting and a starting point off County Road 10 at the Bridge Creek Bridge. You will float down into Otago Creek beyond that, just below that swamp, to where you can stay. You can guide straight on down the creek. However, that it's very beautiful up there, because it's more wilderness, so it's not developed. Not as much litter, thank goodness. But a lot of fresh fall trees and time. We get up there in the fall time when it's safe and the water's low and decent, and get one section clean. By next fall, it's right back nasty or even worse right below it. The downtown, the lower creek below the dam has become so popular and so utilized. We try to concentrate our efforts on keeping it as clean and as safe and as family friendly as we can. However, it is floatable up there. It's a tough go.
Yeah, it is.
But it can be done.
Heavily utilized, I'd say. I mean, you don't find a weekend down there in the lower portion that's not just covered up with people.
Exactly.
And I think that's a tip of the cap to you and your squad out there. And the for lack of a better term, I don't know if you gave yourself this title or not, but the Creek Freaks down there get it done.
That is our nickname. We started out as the Dirty Dozen. The 12 of us that founded the Otago Creek Improvement Committee and were the initial ones that showed up pretty much every weekend. with some task in mind of cleaning and clearing the creek to make it passable down to what is now Togga Creek or the Canoe Trail Takeout off Reuben Road. So to get that done, we were originally known as the Dirty Dozen, and then I kind of coined the phrase Creek Freaks.
I'm glad to hear that you gave yourself that name because some would think that doesn't sound very nice, but I think it's a proud moniker.
Well, that's what folks started referring to us as because we were down there doing weird stuff with chainsaws.
There has been some weird stuff that goes on down there. I mean, some of that stuff was nationally televised. I know you remember Deep South Paranormal.
Yes, I had a canoe involved in that. The canoe they were in was actually mine.
Tell the world about Deep South Paranormal and their activities here in Prattville.
They are
hilarious.
They are a special group of guys, no doubt. I think the one guy with the beard, they had just got out of rehab for like the third time. For I don't know if it's substance. I believe it was alcohol. He was a wild one. Ann Powell actually contacted me, I believe, about utilizing a canoe to do that, and we were talking about that at a chamber a couple of weeks ago. It kind of got off the ghost stories and stuff where they went almost up to Allenville in the swamp in my canoe and made the little
the little doll.
The little witchcraft dolls, voodoo dolls, so to speak, out of straw and stuff. I still got a couple of those. Stephanie Gillespie's got one hanging in her office. I give her. But yeah, that was definitely an adventure. I got to hang out with them on, the movie set there at the gin shop when they were filming. Got to spend Friday and Saturday night in there with them, as well as it was a Thursday evening. We put the canoe in off of Lower Kingston there, just beyond the 4th Street Bridge, and floated them. And the rescue squad was gracious enough to put one of their flat-bottom boats in the water with the camera crew on it and stuff. So that was hilarious. I need to revisit that. I need to watch that again. I haven't seen that in a while.
Man, we've got a couple of ghost stories here in Prattville that surround the creek and the gin, but you really got to ramp it up to make a TV show out of it.
Yes, you do, and they did. They did it well.
And the funny thing is, the original ghost story was in the building that burned.
Yes,
right.
So
exactly.
Really, nobody's ever said the other part's haunted. It's just kind of.
It is now.
It is haunted now. So
it had nothing to do with the actual creek or especially above the dam. More so on they supposedly have seen her walking across the dam, but
you're talking about up there in Allenville and all that up there. Well, that's part of what I was going to talk about. My dad, Norman Mills, and Gilbert Scott, and his cousin. I've railed on their exploits before. One of their favorite things in the world. They literally would go fishing anywhere. They would go in the middle of Bear Creek Swamp and drag a John boat out in the middle of Bear Creek Swamp.
No, sir. Not this guy. No.
Well, one of their favorite things to do was to pull the boat over. They'd have the boat in the back of the pickup truck. They go over behind A.G. Carter's shop.
I know exactly.
Yeah. And they would slide it in right there. The old 10-foot John boat. This is before any of the creek improvements. And they just go up and down from Allenville all the way to the dam, back and forth.
Big fish up there too, I hear.
Oh yeah, they would pull out some massive fish out there.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the ones that put those baby doll heads on spits out there on Bear Creek to keep people away?
They very well could have done that. I mean, that's right up their alley. That's something that they would do if they knew that show was going to be filmed there. They would have done that. There was no doubt, because that's the kind of thing they do. But it was funny because I was showing my dad the show when before my dad passed away. I was showing him that show. His exact quote: "They better not mess up my fishing spot."
I love it.
So you've gotten the canoe trail nationally recognized. You continue to be a champion for that effort. What's next for Togga Creek?
A tiki bar out in the middle of the pond when they get when they get the apartments open there.
That sounds nice.
Some type, not a tiki bar so to speak, but some type floating pavilion maybe that the residents as well as other private folks can paddle out and kind of sun or congregate, so to speak.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Do something at night. It could be a lighted feature, maybe a fountain or some sort.
Yeah.
But would like to see that upper, especially the mill pond, more utilized. as the apartments get, because it's going to be a great view for them.
Oh yeah. There you
Well,
go.
and we have the Creekside concerts where they are now. Well,
Right.
think about having something like that out on a little platform out there for everybody just to pull up with a boat, with a
Yeah.
canoe and enjoy a concert.
Now we did have a group that watched the fireworks there. The last fireworks show we had at the stadium. We had a group of floaters that tied up just behind the dam. Said they had a great view,
spot.
straight downstream view of the fireworks. So there's a lot of potential there. The city's got that property now. They've cleaned up that levee, cut the underbrush and the trees back to where you got a good view across to watch the renovations going on at the gin shop. But yeah, a lot of potential there.
Yeah, we were live streaming the Founders Day ceremony that last week up there on the bluff up there where Daniel Pratt Cemetery is. It is absolutely amazing what they're doing. You could see everything from up there. That the side they're in the middle of making that sidewalk project that goes all the way down the side of the building complex there. And it's going to be an amazing place when they get done.
Yeah, I don't think the city's quite ready for the kind of impact that's going to have. I mean, you can't visualize it until it's on you, but it's going to be incredible for the downtown area. And the downtown area continues to flourish, but it's been needing some juice, I think.
Right.
And this is the juice that it needs.
That's exactly it. Now, another one of our visions, as you'll see in our brochure, was to bring more foot traffic downtown with this canoe trail, to beautify that creek, to make more folks want to come down and walk. In return, when I'll tell you, in 2010 we started, I could count on one hand the shops that were open. Uncle Mick's, Red Air Hardware, Hope's was still in business, the Bridal Boutique,
The friendly barbershop and one thing.
the barbershop,
Shake's
as far as
Barber
retail, and then of course you had Lane Easterlin, which is not really retail, and a couple of lawyer offices, but it was pretty much dried up.
Yeah.
You could roll those sidewalks up on Friday afternoon, no one would miss them till Monday morning.
Correct.
Now that kind of happened when the post office pulled out downtown.
Right.
Now, as of last weekend, there's 2 vacant buildings down there.
And one of them is huge.
Yes.
I would love to see something get in that Red Air Hardware building.
Yes.
What's it going to take to get that Red Air? I mean, like a burger sandwich wrap shop kind of place.
I don't know if you remember the Carousel of Shops.
I do.
That was
Yeah.
where the Axe place is, where Prival Axe is now.
Yeah.
The owner of Fox's Pizza has purchased the Red Air Hardware building.
Uh-huh.
He now owns it. He has his vision, from what I talked to him, it's been over a year now, is to split it up, similar to the Carousel of Shops. He has Southern Grounds Coffee Shop, which is kind of
Right.
unheard of. It's in the back part of that building. Mm-hmm. He's wanting to move it and the cigar bar. Well, actually, the cigar bar would be in the back, open air. He would do kind of a breezeway from the front door to the back door to add that additional parking in the back that they can access Main Street. His cigar bar anchoring, and kind of give him a band. They have live music at Teddy's Bourbon Bar now, kind of in a tight spot up in the front corner.
Right.
He has mentioned more of a bandstand kind of toward the back.
That'd be awesome.
Half inside, half outside. With a cigar bar, he has a humiditor now, but kind of a cigar bar type thing. You can't smoke indoors, obviously.
Right.
But he would like to do that, as well as get his coffee shop kind of up toward the front, and some other boutiques that he would actually spaces he would actually rent out for other boutiques.
I mean, that would be awesome. And with that breezeway coming through, where you can actually access Main Street from off-street parking without having to walk around.
Yes.
I'd like to see the entire Main Street go pedestrian.
Yes.
Like brick it all across, and it's just wide open pedestrian. And all the off-street parking, there's plenty of parking there.
Yes, it can be done, and that's something to look forward to.
Well, I mean, you also have the property across from across from where Cindy's and all that, where they have the tail end of that property back toward the church. I mean, that would be that would be a great parking facility.
Yeah.
And then just like you said, make downtown a foot traffic place, because it's a great place. There's a lot of people get in there, but it's really tight down there on the streetwise is trying to funnel traffic and people down through there.
Yeah.
Right.
It would, but man, what would it I know people are scared of it because it would, it'll shut down Front Street, front of the business parking. Well, yeah, it would be some adjustment and everything, but I think it would actually improve your business because it would probably, would you say, almost double the foot traffic downtown if you just made it where you could just walk around down there without having to worry about crossing streets.
A complete pedestrian friendly district right there.
Right. I think it would.
And man, that would be fantastic. And I think eventually that's gonna be it's gonna have to happen as they continue to grow.
Well, I mean, once the project is complete, I mean, you're going to increase traffic foot and foot wise and whatever. It's going to double down there when you get that many people in that apartment complex over there.
From curiosity alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they start to realize, hey, this is a great place to work, live, and play. Mm-hmm. And we do all three right here in the preferred community. One of the things that's been fun this summer is the Creek Walk concert series. And you said, I think it was you, Skip, that said, listen, we can't control the temperature outside.
No.
Stop complaining. It's a concert series in June and July. It's going to be hot. Mm-hmm. Get used to it. We got some complainers around here.
We do have some whiners in the preferred community. We have some unhappy folks. I try to always see the glass as half full. A lot of folks prefer to see it as half empty. I'm a positive, upbeat kind of guy. I'm going to look for something positive in everything. I wish others would do that. We have so much to offer here. There's so many good things going on. No, the mayor's not perfect, nor is the mayor before him or the one before him or the one after him. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Community. The part of that word is unity.
There you go.
It all just come together, unify. In today's society, today's world, we won't get into politics here. It seems like they're trying to divide us at every turn, at everything we do. Let's stick together, guys. Let's be one. Let's unify. Let's come. Let's all get along. There's something positive out there to see and to think about. If it's negative, just keep it to yourself and move on. Let it roll off your shoulder. Jeez.
Man, you're speaking to the choir here, Skip. I mean, you think?
This is what he speaks on here is part of the conversation that me and Will had. Putting this show together, the preferred community or the preferred experience for the preferred community. Is we want to bring those positive messages, and that's why we like having that. We could go out and find somebody that wants to complain about everything that's going on and probably double our listeners and get them on there and get them all fired. But what have you accomplished when you've done it? And it's about what you can accomplish and what you can bring to the city.
Thank you.
And make it a better place.
And a divided people are easily conquered.
Exactly.
You can control and conquer a divided, but a unified people that can all get behind one thing. You can't stop them.
Nope.
It's unstoppable. I think back to when I think looking at Prattville High School football on the wall there, back in the days of 2000 to 2009, where we won more than 90% of our football games. It's because we had a whole community lined up behind those boys and
Couldn't find a seat. It was standing room only. Parking was a premium all the way over to Fat Boys, to the convenience store, to the bank parking lot. Mm-hmm. It was easier actually to park at the bank, the Bank Trust parking lot and walk back to your car than try to get out of that traffic jam.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days, and we had players that were good.
Exactly.
But we didn't have superstars at every position.
Nope.
But they had the support, and they had the support that they needed to feel like a champion every time they walked out there. And when a kid feels like a champion, they play like one.
Exactly.
And that's a microcosm of this community. If we can get back to the point where, like you said, community, if we're all unified again, then championship things will happen again, not just on the football field, but in everything we do. And Prattville, I think, is doing a lot of good right now in becoming unified again.
Yes,
I can see it. I can see it in the way that our mayor operates, in the way that our council operates, in the way that our board of education is starting to become more unified with the city. I mean, it's a really encouraging thing to see.
I feel like everything's coming together. Yeah, it's not happening overnight. It's not happening nowhere overnight in today's world. I mean,
Right.
We could be a lot worse off. I'll put it that way. We're blessed.
Well, what we're doing was we're fixing a problem at a time where it's hard to fix problems.
Exactly.
But we've gotten to the point where we can't let it go anymore. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be doubly tough to fix the problems. But you got to be committed to make it happen.
I want to hit on another topic here that it's a problem, but it's a fun thing, and I don't think it's really a problem, but it's kind of been a problem, and we've kind of worked it out, amongst ourselves. And I think you are the one to blame for all this.
Thank
you, Skip.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And that is this town is being overrun with golf carts. This town is being overrun with golf carts, and you were the first one with a golf cart, I think. And so I put it all on you. I have a golf cart myself.
Well, yes, you do. I have, to clarify, I have two carts. One is a service cart used for the Otago Creek Improvement Committee to haul chainsaws, and my dog, because she gets tired, and I get tired. But you got to get those chainsaws in and out, and there's a lot of working. But that was initially purchased as not so much a toy, but as a service cart to haul tools. I put a trailer hitch on it. I can pull a kayak trailer, small kayak trailer, my canoe, stuff like that. Now the second one I bought about 4 years ago when we started the Chamber of Commerce Board of Tourism Development. I bought a 6-seater that has the Prattville.com logos on it that I kind of use for touring, for giving guided historical tours. We used to do the walking tours. State of Alabama did the walking tours from the museum in the month of April. That come in handy that last year before COVID that we done it, because we do have some elderly folks that can't walk those 5-6 blocks. They were able to enjoy it.
It's time to bring those back.
It is time to bring those. I meant to mention that last week to Ann Bout. Well, do we see that coming next April? Yeah. We didn't have it this year. We should have, I think. I think COVID's behind us enough that we could have had it done this year. But yeah, those golf carts that now they're saying if they're street legal, which a bunch of them are being sold street legal, that would be turn signals, tail lights, brake lights.
Right.
Horn, DOT certified windshield. You don't find that. There's something funny about getting a tag for an E-Z-Go golf cart. There is a serial number and a VIN number. In order to tag a vehicle, you must have a VIN number. Mm-hmm. Most golf carts have a serial number. So going to the probate office, to the courthouse, and getting a tag, really you're not supposed to be able to do that. Some of these, what they initially called Obama carts, the electric carts that they were selling, well, you got a rebate of some sort. That made them really affordable. Those were street legal. That windshield is DOT certified like a regular car windshield. And it does have a VIN number. But just to go out and buy a regular E-Z-Go golf cart like you're seeing now, if you want it to be street legal and put a tag, you better make sure it's got a VIN number and not just a serial number.
That's asking a lot for a cart, for a vehicle that can't break 20 miles an hour.
It is. Now, also, you need obviously a licensed driver. 16. Yeah. We might need to bump that up to 18. They're a little bit more. 18-year-olds a little bit more responsible than a 16-year-old that just got their driver's license. That wouldn't hurt. Mandatory liability insurance. If I scratch your pickup truck in the parking lot, I need to have liability insurance on that golf. Like I said, licensed driver. Turn signals. They still teach turn hand signals in your driver's book.
Right.
I feel that's permissible. Yeah, it costs some money to add all those stuff onto a golf cart.
It does, but it's a lot of fun, and I love the fact that this community has become like a golf cart community.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, I don't have to worry about all that. We don't have all those problems in Booth with our golf carts. We got plenty of room, plenty of golf carts.
You operate on vigilante justice out there.
Exactly. We might need to move out there.
Yeah.
Just get some vacation property out there.
Hey, we're having the first house built in Booth in 20-something years.
Wow.
So being built right now. So, hey, you better jump on fast, man.
It's
coming.
It's coming.
The wave is coming. You might.
Hey, we're just biding our time anyway. We're gonna make our move and take over.
Well, Skip would relocate the Creekside Yak Rack and Paddle Shack out there,
Yes.
but it take you away from the creek.
I'm conveniently located where I'm at. Everybody asks, am I going to get one of those loft apartments? I won't have a backyard for all my junk, man. I got too much stuff, too many toys.
Now, when you drive by Skip's house, there's just piles and piles of kayaks and stuff. How did you acquire all these?
Oh, man, folks have donated a lot of stuff. Some of them have holes. And then if you remember the canoe we had going in behind City Hall was an ice planter flower bed.
Yeah.
It decayed away. The horticulture guy has reached out to me about getting another one. So over the last 3 or 4 years, I've got 4 or 5 more. Now, I used to buy two every year, either Memorial Day or Labor Day, because that's when you get your best sale on them.
Yeah.
And I'd buy them in pairs because they stack on top of each other, easy to. But I would buy 2 at 8 foot. So I've accumulated. I've got 18 kayaks, 5 paddle boats, 2 canoes, 2 golf carts, a couple of trolling motors, a bunch of paddles and life jackets.
Yeah, you need a yard.
Yeah, I got to keep a yard
I heard a rumor
and a dog.
I heard a rumor that you acquired some of the turf from the old stadium when they
My backyard is Astroturf. The Creekside Yak Rack and Paddle Shack is Astroturf. It is actually lined in crimson. I'll have to send you a picture. Some of the trim. Now, acquiring it, I'm a dumpster diver from way back.
That's right.
That's part of being a paratrooper, guys.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, you gotta live off the land
You
sometimes.
got to live off the land. You got to know how to dumpster dive.
One man's
And
trash, another man's,
It is.
what is it called?
Treasure.
Treasure. That's right.
Yeah, it is. But yes, I've got was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time, living downtown when they redone that stadium project. That there was a bunch of stuff being. I didn't think it needed to go to the landfill, Millzer.
No,
Yeah.
I thought it looked better in my backyard than the landfill.
Much better. Much better. Much better. I think a lot of people ended up with a few rugs from that deal.
Yes, yes. Good to have.
I just hope you didn't get a section where Tim Rawlinson would throw up.
No.
No,
No, because he was known for that.
He was known for that.
I will tell you my 3 little out parcels. You know, we've got this tough HPC hysterical prattle commission.
They're tough.
Yeah, they're tough. They're rough. So I'm limited what I can do in my backyard as far as building and stuff. So I have these temporary shelters built for my golf carts and my kayaks, and they are lined. They are floored with the bright red AstroTurf. That was a no-go.
Yeah.
It got thrown in the dumpster, but some of it got saved.
The safety red.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned the HPC. Some would say it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission on something like that, but you abide by the letter of the law downtown.
I tried to. Yes. I don't know what gives you that idea, but I tried to, man.
That's your reputation, Skip.
I don't want John Boone painting his mailbox purple or pink or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's good that we do have that.
You know he's a threat to paint a mailbox pink.
Yes,
John
he
Boone.
is.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
Yes, he's one of your neighbors also.
I live 6 feet from John Boone.
6
as a matter
feet.
of fact.
You better watch his mailbox. Keep an eye on his mailbox, man. How's your HOA out there? Is it pretty tight? Is it
Pretty
tough?
Loctite when it comes to mailbox.
He's got some pull though.
A little pull, a little bit.
Yeah, they're tight on maybe on that, but good Lord, the parties they have down in that little cul-de-sac is just I don't think there's any kind of regulations on those.
Well, the Mantelhood operates differently from the rest of the neighborhood. So anytime you come down to the Mantelhood, the rules are relaxed a bit, and you're welcome anytime.
I like
Skip.
that. I'm coming.
You're welcome. In the cul-de-sac, we'd love to have a Skip Lobmiller appearance
We will make it.
at a Mantelhood party. And you can ride the golf cart up there to it. You go right through Hunting Ridge.
That's a big hill. I mean, mine is gas powered.
Yeah, see,
Mine too. I like the gas.
I gotta have the gas.
I prefer the gas, and everybody on our street's electric. I'm the only one with gas, and I get made fun of for that. I'm like, look, I don't have to charge this thing ever.
No.
And put 4 gallons of gas in it, and it lasts till the fall.
And if I do run out, I can go get somebody, I can borrow somebody's lawnmower gas quicker than I can find an extension cord
Exactly.
to run up there. Hey man, can I plug into your
And have it
wall
recharged in 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, well, one thing I know about you that you do like gas powered vehicles,
I do.
as including a '69 Plymouth Roadrunner.
That was my high school sweetheart. How'd you find out about her?
Skip, I'm telling you, I got ways. I got ways.
I guess you're going to bring up the 68 pink Cadillac next.
I wasn't going to, but if you want to talk about it, feel free.
Well, that was after I got out of the Army there. That car, that Cadillac actually came from that house on the corner next to Oak Hill Cemetery right there, the big white house.
Oh, wow.
My brother and his first wife, they remodeled that in 89. Yeah. And I was in a transition between the 82nd and going back to Fort Bragg for the Special Forces qualification course. Helped them. That car was abandoned, junk. It was old Ivanhoe dark, Ivanhoe green, almost black. It was actually Ivanhoe green, but it had faded so bad over the years. Was all rigged, man, hot wired and all kind of. Caught the grass on fire when we put gas in it and sparked it up. But me and Danny Durbin had a lot of fun with that. We talk about hold my beer, watch this. We were riding in it after we got it get fired up and halfway dependable, and Bruce Springsteen come on the radio, pink Cadillac, and Durbin looked at, hey man, if you'll paint it pink, I'll mix the paint for free and find somebody to spray it cheap. 2 weeks later, man, I found the Cadillac was pink.
Bingo.
But the 69 Roadrunner, man, that was my first car. Loved it. Hot rod.
You mentioned the pink Cadillac is what you got when you came back from the service.
Yes, that was just a second. I had a little truck also. I had a low rider truck, convertible.
I can see that.
Yeah, me and Durbin cut the top off.
When you got a friend like Durbin in the auto business, you can do a lot of things.
So that was before battery powered sawzalls and stuff. We actually had an extension cord with a sawzall and some directions from California Pop Top that we got offline. One Sunday afternoon, we cut the top off that truck.
You mentioned your service, and by the way, if I didn't tell you before, thank you for your service. Thank you for doing what you did for this country. I was reading an article just recently about armed services recruitment, military recruitment, and they're at like 40% of their quota for recruiting soldiers this year, and it was even worse than that last year. We can't get anybody to want to go in the military anymore. What do you think is causing all that?
Today's society, you mentioned the word work or job. It kind of scares them, I think.
I mean, they're giving these up to $15,000 signing bonuses to join the Army out of high school, and they can't get anybody to do it. With,
it's not so much college education now, but learn a trade.
Yeah. There's
a lot of trade opportunities out there that they can learn in various military branches. I hate to hear that. I didn't realize it had gotten that bad.
Well, I think a lot of it goes back to maybe the leadership of this country.
That's it.
What are we fighting for? And so much, like you said, so much division right now over what's the right cause, what's the wrong cause, why are we doing it? And instead of learning how to be soldiers, we're learning how to be tolerant and be accepting of all the 58 gender blocks and all this, and that's more important to our military than actually defending our country.
Exactly,
and that's a problem.
It's a scary thought
because the people that would want to destroy us, they're not worried about that. They're worried that they're focusing on how to make the better soldier.
Yeah, they're kind of applauding that actually.
Oh, Oh yeah, keep going. Keep going, guys. You're doing a great thing over there.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it, but y'all
fighting from within, it's destroying us.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they say. If this country's ever taken down, it'll be from within.
Yep.
Without a single shot ever being fired.
Right.
So
I hate that.
It's up to us to on the local level.
Yes.
To unify.
Yes.
We can't depend on the feds to do it for us or the state to do it for us. It's got to start in places like this where we all stand unified behind the cause, and that cause is nothing more than just doing the next right thing.
And pride. I mean, you are an American. Stand up for what you believe in, yes, but unify, and that's something that we've gotten away from, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. You're old enough to remember a time back when you could disagree with somebody on something and still be friends.
Exactly.
And now, those days are over. If you disagree with me on sexual orientation, or if you disagree with me on what defines a marriage, or if you disagree with me on CRT, then we just can't associate anymore.
We have to be enemies.
Yes. And that's never been the case up until recently.
Exactly.
And it's disgusting. It's a disgusting thing. I can't stand to watch it. I can't stand to be part of it. But, we could unify on a few key things, like we are Americans.
Yes.
We promote general defense. We provide general defense, promote general welfare. Can we all unify on that?
Yes. And it starts right here at the local, at the hometown level, man. We've got to start it right here in our front yard, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think the things that you're doing, the things that the vibe that you put out to this community helps to make that happen. And I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
So we're heading into the future. Prattville's got a bright future ahead of it. A lot of things are about to change in the next few years, and a lot of things on the horizon from just infrastructure coming up and business development, economic development, and recreation development. What do you see as a vision for Prattville's future, say for the next 20 years?
Oh, I want to get that championship football team back. I know that's on the top of y'all's list too.
You know what? We all want that.
Yes.
We all want that.
Unity, definitely at the top of the list. Anti-litter, y'all know how much I hate it, man. And it starts in your own front yard, because once it gets into the gutter, into the curb, it goes into the storm drain, into the creek, into the rivers. Mm-hmm. See so much these folks don't care nowadays. Unfortunately, you got to put trash cans everywhere, because folks aren't going to step 10 foot out of their way to use one. You pretty much got to put one so they run into it to actually use it. But I think we're going in the right direction. I try, like I said, I try to be positive and think positive at all times. Mm-hmm. I see us going in. We've got some hiccups, ahead of us. There's no hill too high for a mountain climber.
That's right. And there's a bunch of mountain climbers here in Prattville.
Yes,
for sure. Well, Skip, man, we appreciate your time today. This has been fun for me. Fun for you, Millzer?
Absolutely.
I've had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
Enjoyed it. We love having you on here.
I love the man cave. This is not what I thought when I walked in the door. I thought it was going to be more of a radio, more of a preppy type decor. I see y'all's wives don't come in and help. They allow y'all to do what
gave you that idea?
To do what you want to here, but not at home. I'm betting.
Correct.
That's how all this stuff ended up here, isn't it?
We have no inflatable furniture at home.
Pretty much 90% of this stuff was stuff I've accumulated over the years, and I had to have stored because I wasn't allowed to have it out.
I knew it
in the house. So I was like, you know what? This is my room.
That's right.
I knew it when I walked in the door, man. When I seen the Pink Floyd and the ZZ Top posters and the album covers.
You're right at home.
Speaking of, there's a new place opened up downtown. Can I plug them?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, darn, what's her name? She's in the yesteryear's building, Wolf Mercantile.
Mercantile.
Yes, she does estate sales. She has some really cool album covers. I forgot to post last week. She has matchbooks covers from all over the world. Man.
Really?
Yeah, you remember those things you used to call matches? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where folks did for advertisement, even politicians had them.
Yeah.
To advertise,
They're in a big ashtray in a hotel lobby room.
Yes.
You just grab a box, a book.
Yeah, she's got them from all over the place. She has some really cool old album covers is where I was going with that.
Wow.
If y'all get a chance, go down there and check her out. She's got some cool, they're reproduction Grateful Dead T-shirts, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin T-shirts. Yeah.
Got to get in there.
But they're faded, they're faded. They look, but it's new. Yeah.
We got to get in there.
Pretty
Wolf
cool.
Mercantile in the old yesteryears.
Yes, sir.
Got to get in there. That's really cool. Thanks for
It's a
plugging
cool place, yeah. 2 doors down from the beer joint.
Yeah. Well, we definitely know where that is.
We know where that's at. Paige will appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, Paige.
The Craft House is a great place to hang out and meet people.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'll say this, Skip. How the way we bring this show to a close, we start to wind this down. We take it from the fun conversation to a more serious note, and that is with our friends Chip Powell and Lewis Mills.
Oh,
in
cool.
their episodes, weekly installments of Poetic Justice.
I love it.
You've known Chip for a long time,
yes,
and Lewis too. I bet you didn't know that they were master poets that just loves.
I did not know this.
Love poetry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, the side of them you don't get to see very often. So
no,
let's go, Millzer.
Welcome again to another episode of Poetic Justice. I'm Chip Powell, always along my side right here, Lewis Mills. Lewis, we were off last week.
Yeah, had to have a break.
Had to have a break and gather our thoughts, kind of get this all back together. I mean, we put out a lot of episodes, and we needed a week off to prepare mentally. But did you have any time for poetry or maybe any festivals, anything in the off week?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I did at night, read a little poetry.
By the lake?
By the lake.
You do that on the pier or swing?
On the pier.
Or over
on the pier.
Nice. Well, listen, did they announce yet the Lake Martin Poetry Festival?
No,
dates?
not yet.
Okay.
Trying to find an open date.
That's coming up. Well, listen, next week, we're going to have to do our show early, maybe Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm going to be in Sandestin, and I'm there for other reasons, but it just happens to fall in line with the Sandestin Sensual and Succulent September Poetry Festival that starts next week. So I may be there. I don't know. But it'd be bad if I went there and didn't go. So I'll try to make that. But anyway, this week's poem. The subject I'll tell you here, but I really had a tough time between Christiane and Martine, which you're familiar with, Lewis. But I don't know if you've ever heard Amy Ludwig Vanderwater.
No.
She's kind of a newer girl on the scene, but she's pretty sharp. But I went with Christiane Martine this week, and as you and I talked about it Sunday night, the deep meanings of this. But basically, this poem is concurring with today's preferred experience guest, Skip Lobmiller. You know Skip?
Yep.
Fellow Prattville alumnus. Skip's not, he's not only the president of the Tauga Creek Canoe Trail, but he built it back in February of 27, I think, somewhere along those ways. But have you ever been down the creek?
No, I hadn't.
Well, Skip will probably be mad. I've been down it, but I think it was before the creek was really opened up. But anyway, so this is in honor of Skip, our guest today on Preferred Experience. Lewis, I know you know it already. You just go ahead and recite that, man.
All right. The river rushes to greet the trees as they gather together in the moonlight, their leaves dressed in slivers of silver.
Enough said about that. It explains. It's self-explanatory. I don't need my interpretation or yours. It's just if you go across the Bridge Street right there, the moon's over. It'll tell you that. But you know what? It reminded me of the last. Recite that last sentence.
In slivers of silver.
Well, that reminds me. People have told me, I don't know. People told me I've got a slight lisp. I don't know. But I noticed how smoothly you recited that. But it reminds me of my favorite meal I like to have at lunch. And I'm going to see if you can say it as well as I do. And I have the lisp. But I always get this, Charlie's. The seasoned savory Caesar salmon salad. I say it that smoothly. Now, let's see if you can say it. Did y'all detect a lisp in any of that?
Well, I just said number 3.
Well, there you go. But one attempt at it, though.
Seasoned savory Caesar salad.
You didn't say salmon.
Well, I didn't want salmon on mine.
Okay. All right, there it is. Another episode. We thank you for joining us.
Love it.
We get that every week, Skip. I mean,
I love it.
These guys are amazing individuals.
Yes.
Great American hard chargers, and we salute them for their poetic justice weekly.
That is awesome.
Well, now we close the show out with a motivational minute. This is how we get ourselves ready to go into the weekend and come out Monday charging. And we turn to Prattville Junior High's head football coach, and athletic director, and girls basketball coach, and baseball coach, Donny Burnett, because nobody motivates better than Coach Donny.
Cool.
This is Coach Donny Burnett, and here's today's Motivational Minute. Like dreams, small creeks grow into mighty rivers. And one of my favorites from Dan Rather, don't taunt the alligators until you've crossed the creek. Take that to heart. This is Coach Donny Burnett, and today's Motivational Minute.
Well, that is the first time. That is the first on the Preferred Experience where the men that close this show have actually tailored it to a guest.
That's pretty cool.
That's high praise, Skip.
That is pretty cool.
That is high praise.
That was pretty cool. I have a lot of respect for all three of those gentlemen for what they've done for this community over the years.
Well, and they're just so old. You gotta be gentle.
I didn't mean the old thing. I'm sorry, guys.
And I tell you what, it tells you just how much they have done to the community, because it's hard to show those guys respect.
Right, exactly. over the course of the last 40 years, they've earned a year of respect.
Yes.
Yeah. So great man. Proud to know him. Proud to know you. Thanks for being here today, Skip. We really appreciate your time. Appreciate what you do. Keep up the hard work and just keep moving forward, man. That's all we can do.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is going to wrap it up for the Preferred Experience podcast. For Skip Lobmiller and for the Millzer, I'm Will Barrett saying good night, God bless, and go Lions.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Man, Will, love you coming in, pinch hitting, and dude, you hit a grand slam tonight.
Well, expect nothing less from me, Daryl. I'm the best.